What's going on, YouTube? Merry Christmas! JD here with the next episode of JD Plays Feed the Beast Infinity Evolved Expert Mode. And today we got some new things on our to-do list right over here. We're going to be doing a rock crusher, because we have to, in order to do the next step, which is thermal expansion. We're ready to get into some machinery. And I just had an interesting question asked from the guys on the stream. One of the participants, Deadeye, asked, why am I doing so much with the immersive engineering wires? Do I particularly like them? I don't particularly like them, but they are extremely useful early game, as what I explained to him. Now, he brought up that we could be using lead flux ducts. And so let's look at those right quick. So you could start your power generation purely off these leadstone flux ducts if you really wanted to. And it just takes some redstone chipsets, which is just a piece of redstone and assembly table. And I did not mean to hit escape right there. You will need to be able to make some lead plates, and you will need glass. So you're going to have to finagle getting these done after you've already able to power your machines. That means you could have the machine sitting right next to your power generation or something like that. But you could make these. And you will get 6 of these per craft. So this is a route you could go rather than using the immersive engineering wiring. The reason I choose to use the immersive engineering wiring is because there is a very long length in which I can run a single wire. So I can run a single wire from here all the way over to here, and that takes up a single wire versus how many pieces of leadstone flux duct that would take. Furthermore, this transfers at a higher rate of RF per tick than leadstone flux duct does, and it's able to convert between RF and EU. That is why I use immersive engineering wires so heavily early game. So I just wanted to answer that question before we really get into the things we're going to get into today. So if you're wondering why there's little wires spread all over my base, we're going to be talking about that today. Now you'll notice that I don't have the hobbyist steam engines moved over here with my system right now, and everything's hooked up to this lovely capacitor, and this capacitor is full, and yet there's been work being done. Obviously there's work going on right here. It's compressing stuff, and that is still staying full, and the water mills are gone. And I told you guys that I wasn't going to leave the water mills there. So where did the water mills go before we start on this building stuff? Well, the water mills went down there. In this oh so fancy smancy underwater chamber. There are 2 water mills and there are 2 chambers. And it was a lot of fun building that. And to get down there, let's see if we can go over here and do a little fancy smancy jumping to get up there, down there. Dun, 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 dun. There's my sword. Gardy! To get down there, we've got this nice little ramp that leads right down here. Doo-doo-doo. And you see we have a nice power network with the other capacitors so that we're able to buffer our energy. And here are our water wheels, each one producing 90 RF per tick in a nice fancy smancy way where we can see them and it's all sexy. And this is modular, so that means I can continue to expand this with as many of these as I want and just continue to run power back to this 1 HP capacitor, and it'll run it right back up to the main deck. And we're going to make use of this. You'll see that I tend to try to prefer doing my power systems that way, where I can tie additional power systems in at any time in the future as we grow and expand. So this is kind of the start of our power plant, is these water mills that are down here under the water. And part of the reason I wanted them underwater is because it didn't make sense for them to be up there. How is the water supply going to stay constant? Somebody's going to have to be pouring a bucket on it, or I'd have to build some kind of a lake or some, waterfall gimmick. Down here, it's under the water. And if you didn't notice, the way I have this set up, it's very realistic. Let me pick up this glass and I'll explain why. Things have to be kind of logical to me. Not always, but I like to try to make it seem like, yeah, that could really be built that way and it would make sense. I can't get out. The water's too strong. No! So if you look, the water flows in from the top right here, and it goes around the path you would expect it to. And as it passes through this water mill, it exits out right down here and goes back into the ocean. So these water mill chambers are semi, quote unquote, realistic. And so that's kind of why I moved them down there. And yeah, they're pumping out that power for us, and I'm liking it. Just gotta type a quick message. Alright, let's get back up top. Where'd my handy dandy sword go? So that's where our water mills have gone. That was my building project for the day. And I used a lot of glass for a couple of reasons. Unlike stone, if you build glass underwater, it doesn't do the little drip effect like it's leaking. You know, usually you have to do 2 layers of stone for it not to leak water. With glass, a single layer works. And I like the fact that we can see down in there and, you know, see our water wheels in action and see the power moving around. You'll notice that right here, from here to here, this is using a medium voltage wire. But going between the main capacitors, I am using a high voltage wire. So meaning even if I've got several of these pouring into this thing can output at a very, very high rate. And the one that's under here that has these two hooked up, these two are also connected via a high voltage wire, not a medium voltage. So this allows the energy to transfer between the capacitors themselves very quickly, and we can buffer if we need to. So let's get started on the rock crusher. Now, rock crusher, we don't really need a lot of machines for it. Rock crusher could honestly be made almost from the get-go. All you need are some blocks of steel. So once you have steel production, you can do this. Some pistons and some diamonds. And you're going to get 4 of these, but it tells you right here that this is a 3 by 2 by 2 structure. So we're going to have basically 4 blocks side by side 3 times. So we're going to need to craft this recipe 3 times. And I did the math wrong earlier, and somebody corrected me and said, hey, you got to do that 3 times, dude. I was like, oh yeah, you're right, damn. So let's start crafting this. I thought, oh yeah, right here. So we're going to need to turn this into a block right quick, but I didn't. Okay. And I think I didn't get enough pistons, so we're going to have to make some pistons right quick. So let's make this into wood. Okay. Now, I got so much crap on me right now, guys. It's ridiculous. Well, let's get some redstone. Let's take some iron, some cobble, and some wood. Click right here. Piston. Actually, I need to bring another one of those out here for right now. So with the piston, simple recipe. It's the same as it always has been. Wood, ingots, redstone, cobble, pistons. We've got 16 more pistons now. So there's our pistons. Now let's go back to the rock crusher. 4 pistons, 4 diamonds, 1 steel block. So here's our steel blocks. Here's our diamonds. There's our pistons. Let's throw all these in here. And let's make some of these bad mamma jammas. We're going to do 3 crafts, and that's going to give us 12 of those. And for the time being, we're just going to set this up right here. And this is a multi-block structure. Boom, it's done. And this is a rock crusher. Rock crushers do require power. They do run off of EU. This is part of the IndustrialCraft 2. This is part of the Railcraft systems for ore processing. So this could be one of your earliest forms of powered ore processing if you wanted to go this route. Although it's not as effective as many of the others. So this thing is powered now. You can see it's got RF. And what we need this machine for is we're kind of reliant on it to do most of our other crafting, and I'll show you why in just a second. We need to throw some obsidian in here, and this thing's going to run along, and it goes pretty quick. Explosion, and we get some crushed obsidian and some obsidian dust. And we're going to wait till we get about 10 of these. Now the sound does get kind of annoying. You can get rid of that with a muffler. We talked about a muffler last time. I'll probably eventually put a muffler over here because the rock crusher is amazingly loud. In fact, let's make a muffler now because it is amazingly loud. We need wool. Wool is in the monster loots. There's the wool. That's not what I need to do. I'm getting ahead of myself. I need to do wood first. Do I have wood in here or is it only out there? It's only out there. Okay, we gotta go back. Running back as fast as we can. Oh, you're so loud. You beast. So this makes a note block. And this makes a muffler. Be quiet. Much more beautiful. Alright, so we've got more than enough of this stuff now, so we're going to throw this into here. Now, if you look, I've already got some other components in here. And these are the components that are required to build machine frames. Machine space. There we go. There are 4 different levels of machine frames in thermal expansion, and there's an additional machine frame from RF Tools. We are wanting to get into thermal expansion. So let's take the rock crusher off our list because it's done. Bam. Thermal expansion is what we're getting into now. Alright. So to make each of these, it's kind of a similar recipe. You're going to need some form of a circuit board, some crushed obsidian, some kind of chipset, some gear, and a plate. The plate stays the same regardless of each one. The crushed obsidian stays the same regardless of each one. The gears change, and the circuits change, and the circuit boards change. Eventually we want to get into these resonant ones because we can make some really nice stuff with this. But for the time being, we're going to be making some very basic machine frames. Okay? Basic machine frame takes 2 crushed obsidian per, 1 dense refined iron plate, which a dense refined iron plate we've made before, but it's basically steel that's been compressed into plates. And then we take that steel and we compress it, 9 of them, and we get back a dense refined iron plate. The circuit boards, we've also made these before. These come from the carpenter. It's just 6 redstone along with a tin ingot. And we got a follower. Thanks for the follow, James. We appreciate it, and hopefully you're enjoying the stream tonight, this fine Christmas Eve evening. Iron chip sets, we also know how to make those. It's just the assembly table with some iron and some redstone. So we know how to make all this stuff. We pour the tin gears from our smeltery. Now, let's take this crushed obsidian and let's throw it in there. And at this point, we can click on the machine frames and it's going to start zapping it. Now, this thing takes 400,000 RF to create. That's going to take a little bit. So I've added some additional lasers here and here. And they're pulling power out of this bad mamma jamma, which is now pulling power from the machines downstairs. And everything's running. And that's gravy. And this is just going to slowly tick on up. It's going to take it a little bit. So I'm going to wait for that to fill up, YouTube. And as soon as that's filled up, and I'm actually probably going to go ahead and let this fill up and make all of my machine frames that we're going to use today. That way we're not held up by this for the rest of the episode. So I'm going to get all these machine frames made, and then I'll be back with you guys shortly. Alright, YouTube. We are back, and we have 5 of the 6 machine frames that we need. Now, before we get all crazy and start building these machines, I don't know if this is necessary really, but I do end up down the road needing to make additional of these machines. So, that being said, no, I don't want that book. I want this book. And do I have chests on me? I do, okay. And do I need one of you. Get rid of you. There we go. Yeah. We're going to come back over here right quick. Book. Crafting table. Chest. We're going to make ourselves another work table right quick. Now, if you'll remember, this one's got IC2 stuff in it. This one's got immersive engineering stuff in it. This one will have thermal expansion stuff in it. And we know we're going to need a machine frame in every one of these, but we're not ready for that part yet. So, one of the most used items in thermal expansion is going to be this handy-dandy reception coil. Lock that in, because we're going to use that for almost anything we do in thermal expansion. Now from there, almost every machine after that point is simply a matter of some type of gears. And we'll probably should go ahead and actually make a few of these real quick. So let's do 6 of those. And then whatever pieces go with those. So I know we're going to need at least 2 Invar ingots. The bricks are going to be needed. Let's put all this stuff in here. The buckets are going to be needed. I know we're going to need a piston. We're going to need some flint. We're going to need some wood. We're going to need some glass. Alright. Yeah. Alright, let's start off with the first one. This is a Redstone Furnace. Super important. Lets us cook things off of power. Hurrah! What are we missing? Alright, let's take a look. These need to be exact. Everything's in there. Alright, alright. We gotta make that in there. There we go. Alright, so there's our redstone furnace. And I think the other one should be done by now. There we go. So there's that piece done. Alright, next let's do the pulverizer. Now this is we're starting to get into some true ore duplication here finally. And that's a big deal. So this is going to take some flint and a piston, 2 copper gears, another redstone, and then the basic machine frame. So we've got our ability to crush our ore and duplicate it, and then cook our ore back into ingots. Hoorah! We can automate ore soon. Sawmill. Now, we've been using up crap tons of logs to make boards, and we're only getting 2 boards each. Sawmill is going to fix that for us. We are going to need an axe. I've got one made right here. This is just your typical iron axe. So, iron axe, machine frame, copper gears, redstone reception coil, and you got yourself a sawmill. Rather than giving back the normal 2 lumber, this is actually, and it's even going to go beyond giving us the default, what you have in normal mode 4. It's going to give us back 6 planks per log. So that's a huge improvement for us in terms of resource efficiency. This is the big guy. This is what we've been waiting for. This is an induction smelter. Now the induction smelter is a special machine. Everything else has used copper so far. This is actually going to require Invar. Invar is an alloy brought in by thermal expansion that is required for some pretty cool stuff, but it requires us to mix nickel or ferrous with iron in a 1-to-2 ratio. 1 nickel to 2 iron gives you 3 Invar. And we're going to take that Invar in the form of a gear and an ingot along with the machine frame and a bucket to get our induction smelter. So let's pop that stuff in there and pull this out. Now the induction smelter lets us make all kinds of alloys. That is lead, that is not Invar. What am I doing? That is Invar. And actually we'll need one more piece of Invar. We're going to be using that Invar for a lot of stuff, and we'll talk about some more uses for that here in just a bit. So let's pull out that induction smelter. Induction smelter is super, super important to us. It's probably like one of the most important machines we're going to make. Alright, we're going to put these guys down here for now. And I'm just going to start off with the pulverizer. I'll set the redstone furnace next to it here. We'll do the sawmill. Let's do the induction furnace right there. And the sawmill can sit, why not, right here. Now, we need to be able to get power to these guys. I think this is gonna, yeah, I'm gonna fall into the water if I go right there, but that's okay. No. Boom, there we go. I should have gone one to the left. I gotta remember that I've got a center stripe there that I can stand on instead of having to go swimming. But that's okay, we're getting done. We have machines, boys and girls, and this is important to us. I need to do it to all of them. Oh, that was a lucky break. I can show you guys something else now. I forgot about that. Alright, so last machine. It's not going to cooperate with me. I'm going to have to finagle it. I'll finagle that in a second. Alright, so if you notice when I broke this brick, a piece of glowstone popped out and it got dark right here. This is a very nifty thing you can do. Rather than placing torches, you can put down a carpenter's block and then put whatever type of block you're building out of down, and then take a single piece of glowstone dust and shift right click that block, and it will make that block into a light source. So if you don't want to use torches, carpenter blocks are a great way to fix that for you. I guess I could just run the power along the back, now that I think about it. Oh well, we can move these machines easily, it doesn't matter. Let's go ahead and get these guys all hooked up to power. There's a pigman trying to get out. He's trapped in I put a door on my little ender portal, or nether portal finally. Ender portal, I don't know why I just called it. I've called it that multiple times lately. It's kind of a herp dirt move on my part. Alright, we're going to have to break this and fall through, unfortunately. And we'll put this last one on. And then we'll run some power to it. There we go. All set up. Beautiful. So now all of my machines have power. So everything's filling up as fast as it can, and we're still running everything off this central battery right here. And everything is really being run off of just those two water mills. Don't stand on top of your stone crusher. It will kill you. So these two water mills are powering the entire base. Now I could add these hobbyist steam engines in somewhere to throw another 100 RF per tick, but that means I've got to sit there and keep them fueled up and everything else. So, but right now we're able to take our. Let's see here. Let's start using a couple of these machines. So we can take this log, toss it in here. Check this out. Bam, 6 planks, and we get a little sawdust back. That sawdust is going to be very important to us as well. We need that sawdust to make compressed sawdust. You can also use it to make paper. You can use it for phyto grow, rich phyto grow. There's a couple of other uses. Florbs. The main use for this sawdust is these compressed, you can also make sponges out of it. These compressed sawdust are what I'm going to use it for. And I want these because I need these to make binder composite with electrical steel and stone dust. Furthermore, I'll need those to combine with plastic and rocket fuel to make plastic sheets. So this is going to be something important to us down the road. That's why we really need that sawmill, is to up our output of wood. And there's lots of lumbers you'll have to remember that we can't even process without a sawmill. So for example, I grew some tiger wood out by the farms the other day. You can't process this wood. If you put it in here, you can't do anything with it. You also cannot turn this into charcoal. It does not cook in your oven. But you can put it in here and get tiger wood planks out of it. And these have a pretty cool look to them. Those are pretty awesome looking planks. And the sawmill, it just has a cool sound. So there you go. And it will hold up to 2 inventory slots, so keep that in mind. We're going to store this stuff away for right now. That amazing looking tiger wood. Now your pulverizer, most people know what a pulverizer does. We throw stuff in here, we get back, so throw ore in here, we're going to get back crushed ore, dust. Redstone furnace. Redstone furnace is huge for us. Why is the redstone furnace huge? Well, it lets us cook all kinds of things. But one of the main things that it lets us cook that we couldn't cook before is raw meat. We could not cook chicken before. You can't cook it in a regular furnace, a coal-powered furnace. You can only cook it in some type of a powered furnace. So now we can actually cook our meat. Hooray! And then, of course, the induction smelter. The induction smelter, well, we're going to get more into the induction smelter down the road. I'm not going to dive into that right now. But now I can actually cook chicken and have my first hot cooked meal. And I'm not eating fruit juice. Alright, now, we're not done. We still have a couple of other machines to craft here. So we've got the furnace, we've got the pulverizer, we've got the sawmill, we've got the induction smelter. Now I need a Magma Crucible. Magma Crucible takes a leadstone energy cell, which takes some glass, some lead, and a block of redstone. Block of redstone, lead. Whoops. No, that's fine. And glass is in there. Okay. So, shifty click, and there's a leadstone energy cell frame. Now, we're going to go right back in with the Magma Crucible, and it's also going to take some of these nether brick. Now, if you haven't been able to find nether brick, but you did open your nether portal, you can actually make nether brick from nether rack. You get a nether brick for every nether rack you cook, and 4 nether brick can become a block of nether brick. You can also use these to make Pam's Harvest Craft bakeware. So we'll toss those in, and then we'll grab the Magma Crucible. Now this also requires the Invar gear, and everything else is as normal. Magma Crucible, there we go. And last but not least for this round, we're going to make a Fluid Transposer, which also takes a bucket, some more glass, and what's left of our materials here. So there's our Fluid Transposer. Alright, these last two machines, they're a little different than the rest. They're more specialty use. I don't even know where I'm going to put them for right now. We'll stick them over here. Now the Magma Crucible is used to melt things. It's going to take solid materials and turn them into fluids. That means that it can make lava, it can make destabilized redstone, it can make liquid inderium, all kinds of crazy stuff. Cryotheum. It melts solids into liquids. The Fluid Transposer takes liquids and transposes them from one place to another. So you generally want these two machines together, pull things out of this machine, put it into something else using this machine. And we're going to be making use of these a lot down the road, not necessarily right this minute. But for the most part, these are all the machines from thermal expansion. And we're going to use some of the other machines down the road. Like eventually we'll make use of aqueous accumulators, we'll make use of a cyclic assembler, energetic infuser I use every now and then, photogenic isolator I haven't really used, but I might try to use it down the road. But there is some other stuff that I want to talk about in here. There are some other items that we have on hand right now that I would like to make use that fall under thermal expansion. And they are the backpack you see down in my inventory right now, this satchel, and the strongbox. Now if you remember, these items are fantastic, inventory expanding items, but to this point we're using them at their base tier. These are all being the very most basic one that was used with a treasure chest and tin, and then a piece of wool, tin, and some leather. It's time to upgrade those. And the fact that we finally have Invar is how we're going to upgrade those. So let's drop this right here. And what you need to do to upgrade this, now you can make a machinist workbench out of this, but the hardened strong box is just 4 Invar bars, and we've got Invar right here. And we pop them in like there. And this gives us our strong box. Now before I make that, let's take a look in here. This is 2 rows of inventory. Remember that it maintains its inventory when you break them. And we put this in here and we pull this back out, and now we have a normal chest worth of inventory finally. Actually +1 over a normal chest worth of inventory. So that's awesome. This is now bigger than a normal chest and it maintains its inventory, so this is now better than these wooden storage crates, other than they were free and this cost me a little money. So we'll break this down and we'll hold on to that. Drago says that he uses the phytogenic isolator to make his cactus to craft into cellular blocks to power his dandelion. Now, the other item was the satchel. Now, the satchel right now is a single row. It's kind of crappy. It's really nice access because you can do a lot with it, and we're going to be able to do so much more with this down the road, but for the time being, it's kind of meh. Let's upgrade it. It's upgraded using only 2 Invar ingots and 3 tin nuggets. So, nugget, nugget, nugget. And we get a hardened satchel. And this now has 2 inventory slots. Or rows, I should say. So this bag just got better. Now keep in mind, we can upgrade that again. We can make some hardened glass or hardened aluminum glass. Your choice. I would advise you making the hardened glass. And we can upgrade that again. Okay, well, how do we make hardened glass? Well, you remember that lovely induction smelter? This is where it comes into play. A little bit of lead and some pulverized obsidian. Well, guess what? As a byproduct of crushing obsidian, we get obsidian dust. So we've now got this nice little circle of things that are working together. What's up, Will Plays? What's up, Monhaba? Let's grab some lead out of here. And I got enough to do, like, I don't know, what? 3? We'll just do 2 for now. So let's see. Let's find some lead. There's lead. And we'll come back up here. And we'll open up the induction smelter and throw in this obsidian dust on one side and the lead ingots on the other. And that's going to cook up and produce for us some hardened glass. And you get 2 per craft. So really, I probably should go ahead and do that last craft right quick. And I think I've got some extra lead sitting over here somewhere. Maybe. No, it's back over there. Alright. Let's go grab that real quick. Merry Christmas, Manjava. How do you pronounce your name, man? Manjava or Manjava? Do you pronounce the J or not? You tell me. Let me know, buddy. And Merry Christmas. I guess I could turn on the stream chat for YouTubers. There we go. Alright, so we'll throw that in there and we'll get one more made up. One more batch of this good stuff. Alright, so that gave us 6 hardened glass. Now, hardened glass is used in a lot of recipes. Having access to that really opens the game up for us. For example, taking 4 hardened glass and putting it around this hardened strongbox makes it into a reinforced strongbox. So before, it had 4 inventory rows. Now, look at this. This is now a double chest worth of storage that we can pick up and carry around with us. It just got super useful. That is awesome. Now, the next upgrade for that is an Enderium one. And we're going to need Enderium ingots for that. And to get to Enderium ingots, let's look at that again right quick. Enderium ingots are made using Enderium blend, which is tin dust, silver, shiny metal, aka platinum, and resonant ender buckets. The resonant ender, we're going to get, there's a few ways to get it. You can get it from Enderium drops. I would not waste ender lily seeds on this. The best way is just to put ender pearls into a Magma Crucible, melt them down, and you get resonant ender. You can then put it in a bucket and then craft Enderium blend. Okay? And we'll be making some of that soon, just not right away. We can also go ahead and get this satchel upgraded now. 2 of these, and we're going to need some Invar nuggets. And now we've suddenly got a reinforced satchel. So as you can guess, this now goes to 3 inventory slots. So these are getting bigger, these are getting better. This now has more inventory space than these do, and it can hold anything. That makes it awesome. Pretty soon we're going to be able to retire these backpacks that only have 15 slots and move over purely to satchels and whatnot. And we're going to talk about more about that next time. So at this point within thermal expansion, we've done a lot. Now there's a lot more to talk about. You notice that these things say resonant, whereas these machines say basic. So that has to do with, let me hit O, and when I hit O, it's going to get rid of the NEI interface. You can turn it off and on at will. But we're going to turn it off for a minute. We're going to look at what it means to be a basic machine versus a resonant machine. So on all of these thermal expansion machines, you'll notice there are some tabs over here. Configuration lets you control what the inputs and outputs look like for the sides. So this yellow one corresponds to this slot, the red one corresponds to this slot, the blue corresponds to this slot. There's also a redstone control that tells us we're going to ignore it. The machine is enabled if the redstone signal is low. The machine is enabled if the redstone is high. Great. The final tab is the augmentation tab. And this is where the difference between basic, hardened, reinforced, and resonant come into play. These are augmentations, and these can be removed. You can take these out. And if you look in NEI, you'll notice, hey, we got another follower. Thanks for the follower, Manjava. You'll notice that there are multiple augmentations down here. There are augmentations for secondary sieve, which increase the amount of secondary production we get. So for example, if I'm cooking, say, gold with sand in here, I will get back golden ingots, but there's a chance that I can produce rich slag down in this column. If I put these secondary sieve augments in, there's a tier 1, a tier 2, and a tier 3. The tier 3 giving up to an 81% chance that you'll get that secondary output. But you'll notice that it requires a resonant machine, and it requires all previous levels of this augmentation to be installed. Therefore, if you want to install level 3 of this, you'll need to install level 2 and level 1. There's also speed ups for these machines. There's one that's fantastic for the Redstone Furnace called the Trivection Chamber. This doubles your food output. So if we were to take something like bread. Oh, the chat is in the way of NEI. Good point. Thank you. If we were to take something like bread, we could turn it into flour, the wheat, turn it into flour, put the flour in the Redstone Furnace, and that would produce bread. Well, with this augmentation installed, it would give us 2 bread instead of 1. If we then took those 2 bread and put them back into the Induction Smelter, we could get back 4 toast. So we can take a single piece of wheat, and here's the fun part. Let's look at just how far we can take that duplication. If we take wheat and we put it into a sag mill, we are guaranteed to get 2 flour. So we've doubled our wheat, we've got 2 flour. Now if we put it into the redstone furnace with that augmentation, we're going to get back 4 bread. Now if we take those 4 bread and put it back into the same furnace, we're going to get back 8 toast. So 1 wheat just became 8 toast, and toast gives 3.5 hunger with almost an entire bar of saturation or satiation, whichever you prefer. That's a pretty massive upgrade to keeping us from being hungry anymore. Not to mention that you can then also turn around and use this bread to make, McPams and BLTs and my favorite burgers in the game, the bacon cheeseburgers. So you got, hamburgers, which we can upgrade into cheeseburgers, which we can upgrade into bacon cheeseburgers, which we can upgrade into more and more, all kinds of stuff. This is a bacon mushroom burger. Look at that. Look at that hunger. Bacon cheeseburgers. Fantastic. Deluxe burger, cheeseburgers. Oh, there's so much good foods in Pam's Harvest Craft. It's so much fun. Anyways, these machines can be upgraded, all of them. Your options on how to upgrade them. So let's go back to thermal expansion. You can upgrade them right from the get-go by building the appropriate machine frame. Where are my machine frames? I just saw them. Dun, 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 dun. Right here. You can either start off by building the machine frame for that level of the machine. So for example, if you want a resonant machine, you can build a resonant machine frame. Or you can take the basic machine. Where is it at? Right here. So let's look at the redstone furnace. Whoops. And if we take a redstone furnace and combine it with 4 in-bar blocks and 1 electrum gear, we'll get a hardened redstone furnace. If we then take a hardened redstone furnace and combine it with signalum gear and hardened glass, we'll get a reinforced. And if we take a reinforced and combine it with silver ingots and an inderium gear, we'll get a redstone resonant. I usually tend to upgrade mine. I don't build too many of the machine frames to upgrade these machines because usually you've already got the machines long before you can build the machine frames. But down the road when you're producing mass tons of power, that's an easy way to go straight to the higher tiers of the machines. So there you go. Now, other things that this is now going to enable us to do. We are now able to start working on flux duct. So hardened flux duct, which moves 800 RF per tick, is now available to us. We can make the refined iron plates, we can make the redstone, we can make the redstone chipsets, and we can make the hardened glass, which is required to make these hardened flux ducts. And there are a lot of different flux ducts to be made. We can also now begin making temperate fluid ducts, which are much easier. I do not remember the flux ducts being that difficult of a recipe before. Maybe I'm just silly, but I do not remember them requiring steel last time. Oh well. Anyways, we can also make temperate fluid ducts. This is how I remember all of the ducts recipes looking. So I'm not sure what changed with that. This allows us to move fluids around. And then we've also got item ducts. And this will allow us to finally move item ducts around. I seriously think they changed the flux duct recipes. Yeah, because here's leadstone. That's the way I remember them being. And there's hardened. What? That's very weird. I'll have to do some digging on that one. Anyways, but we're able to start doing ducts now, and that's going to greatly be a big game changer for us in what we're capable of doing. So I think we're probably over on time at this point, but let's take a look. And that's okay for a little over because it's the Christmas episode. It's got to be longer. Let's see where we're at right now. Actually, we're doing really good on time. We're only at... Oh, we divided this into 2 parts. So we're at about 40 minutes. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Well, guys, I'm pretty stoked. I've got my power going. I like how my power system's looking. The base is coming together. So Season 2 is off to a good start. We've got our machines out. I'm going to have to really plan out how I want to arrange my machines on this platform. And I'm probably going to be expanding this platform out that direction and this direction. It's probably going to get kind of massive on this platform. We'll see. But it's Christmas Eve, and one of our goals that we talked about a while back was to hit 250 subs on YouTube before Christmas. We did it. Thank you. I hit 250 subs tonight, so a day early we hit 250 subs. That means, so far guys, as of right now, I'm averaging about 100 new subs a month on YouTube. as of the time of me starting, broadcasting on YouTube back on November 1st. That is freaking awesome. Woohoo! We got another follower on Twitch as well. That's the other thing I was going to talk about. Not only did we hit 250 subs on YouTube, I hit 150 followers on Twitch today. That's freaking awesome. That's 2 of my goals knocked out in one day. You guys have been a fantastic community on YouTube, and I've got a great group of guys that hang out with me, and girls, every night on Twitch. Chat with me. If you haven't, come stop by. Remember, I stream every night at about 9 p.m. Central. I usually stream for about 3 hours a night, and I put out a new video every night of the week almost. So far, I have not missed a single night, even when I've been traveling. For those who are on the stream right now, and for those who are watching this video on Christmas Day, there will be no stream tonight, Christmas night. I'll be, hanging out with my kids, my wife, my family, and I might be on Saturday night. I don't know yet. It depends on what time we get back from, because I've got a lot of family to visit. But either way, I will be back by Sunday for sure, and there will be a video both Christmas Day and the day after, and the day after, and the day after, and blah, blah, blah. But, as always, guys, if you liked it, like it. If you'd like to see more, like it, subscribe. We got a new milestone. We're trying to hit 500 subs now. Let's get that done. You guys be good to one another. Merry freaking Christmas. I hope everything goes exactly how you want it to, and you get to spend lots of time with your loved ones. If you don't do Christmas, Merry Christmas anyways, and Happy Holidays to you and yours for whatever you do celebrate. You guys take it easy. I'll see you next time. Laters.